Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal production channel here at YouTube, and welcome to another Friday review. Today I am here to review Evil Rain, which is the third full-length album from Danish metal band Steel Inferno. This was released through From the Vaults on October 21st. So, without further ado, let me get into my overall thoughts on Evil Rain from Steel Inferno. Let's get into it, folks. So, before I really get into my overall thoughts on Evil Rain from Steel Inferno, which I gotta say, I'm just wondering if they took the album title from the Hellstar song of the same name, which was taken off the Remnants of War album. So, you know what I have to do. I have to do a track listing rundown so I can tell you folks what are the songs around this album, how many songs are on this album, and what is the time length for this album. And since there's at least 11 songs here, it all clocks in at the length of 37 minutes and 11 seconds. So, these 11 songs are beginning with No Escape, Breakout, Siren of the Air, Queen, Jaws of Evil, First Strike, Dark Tower, Cut by Her Web, Succubus, More Than Meets the Eye, and then finally ending with Claws of Death. So there you go, folks. There's your 11 songs. You know what that sound is? That's my notes. Paper, yeah. God damn it. This album follows 2020's And the Earth Stood Still, which I did review on this channel on that same year, which ended up serving as the last album for singer Karen, who had been with the band since its formation in 2012. In her replacement is new singer Chris Rostov, a male this time, who is already much different in tone than compared to the voice of Karen, who I thought sounded very close to the late Kim Six, whereas Chris Rostov, to me, sounds a bit like a cross between John Cyrus and Bobby Blitz Ellsworth, especially 80s period, especially if we're talking about the early Overkill stuff. Which, speaking of Agent Steel, not so much Overkill, the music is much more in the vein of stuff like Agent Steel, mostly the Unstoppable Force album, Holy Terror, the Mind Wars album, and Hellstar. Maybe somewhere between Remnants of War and A Distant Thunder. But just listen to a song like Breakout with its endless crushing riffs. Claws of Death is another good example here. While it's a mostly mid-paced track, it too is filled with plenty of crushing riffs that will make any fan of Agent Steel and Hellstar blush. Just so goddamn infectious. But really, the entire album is packed full of pure, accelerating, crushing bangers, especially like the opener No Escape, and then the other rapid-paced neck-breakers like Jaws of Evil, First Strike, Cut by Her Web, Succubus, and More Than Meets the Eye. These songs just fucking smoke and will leave your face skinless. This album is just that damn good. Now, I should briefly touch on the production slash mixing of the album. The production slash mixing of the album, to me, is just right. It feels right. Now, the last couple of albums sounded great, maybe not so much And the Earth Stood Still, but again, they sounded great in this department. But to me, this right here blows production slash mixing on those albums out of the water. This here sounds warm, almost giving the album a vintage analog recording to him. The guitars have a nice crunch, which give these songs such a greatly needed kick in the balls. It's just fucking perfect to my ear, which makes this album all the more infectious and probably their best album to date. I mean, I like their earlier releases, but to me, this album has a certain quality to it that pushes it so far above them. It's some of the best slice of thrash metal since the last Vulture album, and to me, it's that fucking good. Now, Before I end this review, I should point out that the copy that I've been listening to contains a 12 song that is titled Kill by Command. Now, I don't see this song listed on the Bandcamp digital release, nor the physical versions. So I don't know where this track came from, but it does sound like it was recorded for the album. Hopefully, one of the members of the band comments on the track Kill by Command, which I do need to say also rules. It's a really good track. So there you go, folks. There's my overall thoughts on Evil Reign from Steel Inferno. And now, it's time to tell you my rating for this album. And I am giving it a 9.98 out of 10. That is the highest score I have given this band's album, or any of their albums. I've never given any of their previous releases such a high rating, and that right there is what surprises me about this album. And the songs that at least stick out at me that I'm going to tell you is going to prove that, because there's plenty of really great songs on here, but the ones that, again, that just stick out at me are Breakout, Jaws of Evil, Caught by Her Web, Succubus, More Than Meets the Eye, Claws of Death, and then No Escape. These, to me, are just some of the best songs on this album, and that kind of not so much scratches the surface of the album for me. I mean, this is a really good album from them. And again, it might be my favorite from this band. And again, I found Steel Inferno, or at least discovered them, when they were still in their infancy trying to put stuff on Bandcamp. That's how long I've stayed with Steel Inferno. And it just blows me away how good this album is compared to some of the previous ones, which I thought were pretty good to begin with, but this just did something for me, and I hope it does something for you all, because if you go into the description box, you're going to see links to where you can listen to this album and, of course, physically buy this. So I hope you support Steel Inferno. So with that, I hope all of you enjoyed. This is Heavy Thrashhead saying I am out, and I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.